on the issue of climate change. Juan?
Well, we turn now to look at the impact of climate change in the Himalaya region in Asia, where scientists are warning melting glaciers could have a devastating impact on over 1 billion people. The Himalayan glaciers have been described as the water towers of Asia, as they provide a key source of water to 10 major Asian river systems spread across Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, China, India, Burma, Nepal, and Pakistan.
Scientists say the glaciers in the Himalayas are receding faster than anywhere else in the world. By the end of the century, 75% of the Himalayas glaciers could be gone. We're joined now by the prominent Indian scientist and glaciologist Syed Iqbal Hasnain. He's the chair of the Glacier and Climate Change Commission established by the state government of Sikkim in India. He spoke last night at the Asia Society, an event called the Himalayan Glaciers and Asia's Looming Water Crisis. We only have a few minutes, but can you lay out what this crisis is and what's happening in the Himalayas?
Thank you very much for having me in the show. The whole crisis has been mentioned by the earlier, that 2 degrees Celsius is already been exceeded. If you convert into the watts per meter square, the radiative energy is about 20%. So this is a big dilemma for the policymakers, that how they're going to stop it, because we have already seen that Copenhagen is already been a failed attempt, because there was no verifiable cut agreement on that, and the global, the whole world, I think, have to do something for it. And as far as the Himalayan glacier is concerned, they are melting at a very accelerating rate. And not only in the Tibetan plateau, because you have glaciers, you have a permafrost. Permafrost is melting, and similarly the glaciers are melting. But they are huge in number, just like the North and South Pole. So it takes a while for them to melt. So that's why the water is increasing in all the river systems, whether it's the Indus or the Brahmaputra, and in the years to come, that is going to decline. Then that will be a big catastrophe for the entire communities there, which are more than 1.5 to 2 billion people, which are directly dependent on these water resources coming from the Tibetan Plateau and the Great Himalayan ranges.
And how quickly do you see this the receding of the glaciers? There are some, they have a different climatic setting in the Himalayan, across the Himalayan arc. So those who are on the eastern side, fed by the monsoonal rain during the summertime, they are receding much faster than on the western side they are coming during the winter time. So we have a complex climatic system in the Himalaya, and the response time is different. But across the Himalaya, all glaciers are receding with the different timelines.
Talk about the importance of the glaciers. You mentioned the rivers with the glacier and the permafrost melting. What you see in the next decades?
But I see as we have not done anything to stop the greenhouse gases or the regional problem. We have the black carbon, which is also accelerating the melt in the region, because this black carbon impact is more on the Himalaya. So I see the more and more melt will be there, and then after a certain time, now the discharge is going up. Then the discharges will go down, and recent studies by the Dutch scientists already indicated that 151% of Himalayan the snow and ice component is there in the Indus River, as compared to the rainfall, because rainfall is also decreasing in this region because of the climate, because of the greenhouse gases and the black carbon impact. So overall, we see a decline, and then there will be an issue from where because the most important part of the glacier melt is not that how much water they are providing, but is the season, in which season they are providing. Because they give the water to the downstream communities and to the agriculture or ecosystem maintaining in the lean period, in the summertime.
What has to be done now?
I think it is a very important issue. The global community has to come together into the next Cancun and then decide about the cuts.
Cancun being the next climate change summit.
Next climate change meeting, and they have to be very serious about it. Simply will not talk that we will do this, but
has to come out with a certain cuts globally and regionally. These countries, the South Asian countries, including China, has to cut down on the black carbon emission, which is coming from the diesel and from the biomass burning. So they have to change that cooking stoves and things like that for millions of people, so reduce the black carbon emissions, and similarly put up the filters on the trucking, which has the huge problem in the Himalaya because of the army prisons of the China, India, and Pakistan, and that somehow have to be reduced, and then we'll see some changes occurring in the cryosphere of the South Asia.
Well, I want to thank you very much for being with us. Syed Iqbal Hasnain is the Indian scientist who studied the impact of climate change on glaciers, chair of the Glacier and Climate Change Commission established by the Sikkim government in India. That does it for our broadcast. Democracy Now! Is produced by Mike Berkshire, for the producer Armate, Angelique Hammett, Steve Martinez, Nicole Salazar, Hani Massoud, and Ravi Karen. Mike DeFilippo, Miguel Noguera, our engineers. I'll be speaking in Great Barrington on Friday night at Monument Mountain Regional High School. And you can go to our website at Democracy Now! For details. Also, special thanks to Becca Staley, Julie Crosby, Nick Gillett, Hugh Grant, Samantha Chambly. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. Thanks for joining us.